Welcome to Digital Literacy and ICT Integration Course Development, Content Development, Module 7, Assessing Teaching and Learning Using Digital Learning Tools. Dear colleague, you are most welcome. This is the first unit of Module 7, Assessing Teaching and Learning Using Digital Tools. Specifically, this unit will look at the general overview of the whole Module 7. The expectation for this module is 1. Demonstrate skills and competencies in implementing assessment policies in Ghana, NTEAP, NTS, NPLAF. 2. Explore 5 competencies and their assessment tools. How do you assess the competencies you expect your learners to achieve at the end of a lesson? Write your answer down. Take a moment to familiarize yourselves with these skills and core competencies as you refer to Figure 2.1 on page 46 of the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 2. Apart from the traditional means by which you assess your students' competencies, there are digital means by which you can also assess your students. Reflect on some of these digital tools for assessment and the types of core competencies they can test. Proceed to Table 5 on page 48 for summary of the core competencies and tools for assessing them and the assessment modes. Now reflect on what you have done and mention at least 3 digital tools for assessing your students' performance. In the subsequent units, details on how some of these digital learning tools are used to assess your students' performance will be explored. See you again in the next unit. Unit 2. How to assess learners' use of presentation software. Hi, welcome back. This is our second unit on assessing teaching and learning using digital learning tools. You have already gone through the use of presentation software like MS PowerPoint to present content. Refer to the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 1, pages 68 to 76. This session takes you through the criteria used to evaluate a student's presentations. Take a moment to reflect on what you consider as a good PowerPoint presentation. Take a look at the following criteria for assessing a good PowerPoint presentation. 1. The focus of the presentation. That is, the content must align with the objective of the presentation. 2. The clarity and consistency of the presentation. 3. The thoroughness of ideas and analyses presented. 4. Effective use of facts, statistics, and details. 5. Lack of grammatical and spelling errors. 6. Design of the slides. 7. Effective use of images. 8. Clarity of voice projection and appropriate volume. 9. Time management. Well, now you're aware of the criteria for assessing your students' PowerPoint presentations. To be able to score your students' presentation effectively, you need an extended rubric to carry out the assessment. Turn to the diagram on page 49 of your ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 2 to see more. Now that you have gone through the rubrics and understood, you can use it to assess your students. As a teacher, you can also share the rubric with your students so that they can peer review their colleagues' presentations. Share with colleagues your satisfaction of the rubrics. Unit 3. How to assess learners' use of a digital journal. Hello, colleague. You are welcome. In the previous lesson, you learnt about some assessment tools you can adopt to assess the performance of your students in your lesson. I believe you can mention at least 4 of them. Good! In this unit, assessment of learners' use of digital journal will be introduced. The following are the expected learning outcomes. 1. To be able to create a digital journal in your Google account. 2. Use a digital journal to assess your students' performance. As a teacher, it is important to know what a digital journal is and how you can use it for assessment. A digital journal involves providing students with a space on a digital platform to record their thoughts, questions, and progress on their reading, writing, or collaborative discussions. Once the students give out their information on the platform, you can read student journals and respond accordingly. Now that you know what a digital journal is, turn to the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 2, page 50 to 56, to learn about the steps involved in assessing learners' use of digital journals. If you have gone through the steps effectively, you are now in the position to assess your learner's digital journal. Thank you for availing yourself for this session. Unit 4. How to undertake peer-to-peer assessment using WhatsApp. Dear colleague, you are welcome back. I'm sure you enjoyed the previous discussion. This discussion will be centered on how to conduct a peer-to-peer assessment for your students using WhatsApp. Reflect on your expectations for this engagement. By the end of this session, you will be able to 1. Use a WhatsApp group page to conduct a peer-to-peer assessment. I guess you have installed and launched WhatsApp on your phone or laptop. As a teacher, you may have created or joined several WhatsApp groups. Do you have a WhatsApp group for peer-to-peer assessment in your class? If yes, what do you think are the benefits of creating a peer-to-peer assessment group on WhatsApp? There are certain factors to consider when creating WhatsApp for peer-to-peer assessment. Read through pages 56 to 57 of the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 2. Doing this as a teacher will motivate learners to contribute in class, engage their peers, and also develop collaborative and analytical skills. This will also help the teacher identify the strengths and weaknesses of the learners, especially those who don't contribute physically in class, and how best they can be assisted. So soon, we've come to the end of the session. I hope you find this unit useful. Share what you've learned. Unit 5. How to assess learners using Google Forms. Hello, colleague. You are welcome. I hope you've enjoyed the previous units and have applied them in your classroom. This unit takes you through the use of Google Forms to assess the performance of your students. Let's go through the learning outcomes together. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to 1. Launch the Google form from your Google Workspace. 2. Identify some key features on the Google form. 3. Use the Google form to assess the performance of your students. Google Forms is one of the Google apps that teachers can use to help in their teaching. It can be used to create an assessment for students, survey, attendance, registration, collect feedback, and online application form. Now take your time to go through the steps in assessing learners using Google Form. Refer to the ICT Integrated Handbook on pages 57 to 66 for the various steps. A related tool for assessment is Google Slide. Find time to learn more about it on pages 68 to 71 of the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 2. Congratulations! You've come to the end of this unit. Now that you know how to use Google Form to create an assessment, I hope you start using it from now on. The next unit will look at how to use Google Form to assess students' e-portfolio. Unit 6. How to assess learners using e-portfolio. Dear colleague, welcome to this unit. You have learned how to create e-portfolios like Google Drive, iBox, CamScanner, and OneDrive in Module 5, Unit 2. Refer to pages 115 to 131 of the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 1. The unit talks about the use of e-portfolio to collect data for students' assessment. What are your expectations? The expected learning outcomes are: 1. Create a digital portfolio. 2. Use the e-portfolio to collect data for assessment. You can assist your students in creating a digital portfolio that can be used to collect data for assessments. It can be a program or course portfolio. Open with me to the ICT Integration Handbook, Volume 2, page 67 for more details. Take note. Use any available e-portfolios learned in Module 5, Unit 2. If you have mastered how to assist learners to create e-portfolios, then that is great. You have ended the unit successfully.